Hello everyone, and welcome back to day 4 of our challenge. So hopefully you enjoyed and tried out the breath work yesterday, but today we're going to be focusing on mobility and flexibility. Now on day 1 and 2, we already worked on a little bit of mobility and flexibility, and it's just generally intertwined with yoga. But today we're going to focus on the specifics, so getting into what parts of the body that we need mobility and why. Okay, if you're ready, go ahead and meet me on the mat and we'll get started. So today we're going to start in a crisscross seat or on the knees, whichever you prefer. If you want to sit on a cushion, you can as well, because often just sitting on the mat can be tricky at first. Good. So from here, we're going to close the eyes and find our posture in the seated position. And again, just center us, bring us into the present moment here, into the practice. Good. Focus on your breath. Notice if it feels a little difficult today, if it feels good. Good, okay. So if we're gonna work on flexibility and mobility, then we want to warm the body up first, because we always get deeper when it comes to stretches when our body is warm. So you'll notice if you go to hot yoga, or if you come out of a sauna, or if it's super sunny, you'll be a little bit more flexible even after a workout, because your muscles and your joints are warmed up. So we're gonna try and warm the body up. So from here, go ahead and begin with some gentle arm circles. Just check in with your range of motion, see where it's at today. It's okay if if it's a little bit less than it normally is. We're just starting out. Good, try and keep the rest of the body solid as you do this, and just move that arm in whichever way feels comfortable. I often like to scoop and then externally rotate. Scoop again, externally rotate. And we're not counting. There's gonna be one side which is uneven, but that's okay. Get out the cricks and the cracks from my shoulder. Good, change direction. Nice. All right. Bring it back to the other side, spend a little bit more time, scoop forward, rotate outwards. A little bit more time going forwards. Try and keep the torso straight so it's just that shoulder moving. Ooh. This one feels a little stiffer. Good. And when you're ready, change direction. Doesn't have to be perfect. Nice. All right, bring your awareness back to your feet. If one leg is crossed in front of the other, then we're gonna swap it. What's important with flexibility is we even it out. We want to make sure both sides of the body have roughly equal mobility. However, there is always going to be one side which is better for you, and that is the side I started on, because that's what I naturally go into. So just take note of that, but it's good to try and even it out. All right, from here, inhale, we're going to reach the arms forwards and downwards. Upwards and downwards, not forwards and downwards. Good. Link your breath now. Start to inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Keep those ribs tucked down. But we're gonna start to add a bit more movement to the spine in a second. Good, from here, inhale. Lift the chest this time, almost like cow position. And on the exhale, round like cat position. So just as we did last flow on day 2, we're cat-cowing, but we're doing it seated. Inhale, lift. Exhale, round. It's okay if it's a tiny movement for you. It doesn't have to be anything extreme. Good, last one. Those arms should be good and warmed up now. Nice. From here, reach the arms forward, hold that cat position. And inhale, hold the cow position, open, open. Interlace the fingers if you want. Press the elbows away. Good job. Give those shoulders a bit of a shake. Move the hands. Work into the wrists just a tiny bit. And we're gonna move through into our tabletop. So swing those legs to the side, come forwards. Okay, so now we've just done warm the upper body up. Let's warm the lower body up. So from here, we're just gonna add some hip circles. Now for beginners, these can look super tiny and that's completely okay. What I want you to do is take that leg out backwards and from here, bend at the knee. Then we're gonna take the leg to the side, come back to the middle, and again, send it back outwards. Side, middle, send it backwards. Good, outwards, middle, backwards, outwards, middle. If that's easy for you, now you can add some dynamic circles through that same pattern. The left hip should be stabilizing you. Try and keep the upper body. We're not like moving the whole body here. Keep it sturdy. Isolate that movement to the hip. Good. Deep breaths. Woo. Nice job. All right, bring it back in, take it to the other side. The other hip will already feel a little tired because we were just using it to stabilize, or it might feel a little tired. From here, again, extend back, bend the knee, open to the side, through the middle. Extend back, bring to the side, through the middle. And again, if that feels easy, add those dynamic circles in, speed it up a little bit. Couple more. Keep the upper body stable. This side is definitely harder for me. Good, bring it back. Shake both hips out. And then we're gonna add some hip lifts. So lift and extend that right leg back. Just like day 1, we're not dipping here. We're pulling the stomach in, keeping the core tight. And just try and cross the right leg behind the left. And then bring it back out to the right. Doesn't have to be far, just a little bit. Inhale, exhale to touch. Inhale, lift, and touch. This should be all in the glute, a little bit in the hamstring here. Squeezing up and lowering. Squeezing up and lowering. Squeezing up and lowering. Good, bring it back to the middle. Other side now, extend that left leg back. Here we go. We're gonna squeeze up to the right, squeeze up to the left, squeeze up to the right. Keep it going, link your breath. Exhale to touch, inhale to lift. Good. All right, one more, and bring it back to the middle. Okay, so now those hips are nice and warmed up. Maybe give your body a little bit of a shake. We're gonna head straight into our first flexibility move. So this one's really gentle. There's a lot of ways you can make it feel easier. If you need to, grab a block if you want a little extra option here. So from here, we're gonna bring that left knee into the middle of the mat and turn it slightly sideways. From here, extend the right leg out, lift the upper body up. Okay, from here, if this is already a stretch for you, amazing. hold it here. If you want to add a bit more to this, send the hips back slightly. Place the hand on the lower right thigh, right calf, and inhale. Lift the left arm up and over. So you might feel it on the inner hamstring and in the left side of the body here. This one has a funny name. It's called gate pose. Good. And we're gonna bring it back through the center, nice and slow. Nice job. From here, bring that left knee in, step back, downward dog. First downward dog of the day, take a deep breath. Exhale, melt the knees. So the gate pose is really good for inner hamstring flexibility, which helps in so many yoga poses. But downward dog is really good for opening the chest. We spend so much time seated at a desk that we need to kind of open and reverse that movement. So this helps to bring in the shoulder flexibility, the upper spine flexibility, as well as the hamstring flexibility, because we're stretching those legs down, which also helps in so many different yoga poses. Good. Okay, bring your knees back down. From here, this time we're going to take it to the right side. Bring that right shin across the left side of the mat. Lift the torso up. You can use a block if you want to. Whoops. Place it here, or to just hold out in front of you, like so. Okay. From here, if you want to go deeper, send the hips back. Left hand to left shin. Reach the right arm up and over. We should feel it in the left inner hamstring and the right side of the body. Hello. You want to stretch too? Cats are so good at stretching. So good. You notice that every single animal, pretty much except for humans, most animals, when they get up from a nap or something, they always stretch. For some reason, humans don't do it, or we don't do it naturally anymore. Good, bring it back to the center. Lift those hips up and back. Downward dog, take your time to get here, bend the knees if you need to. Good. Inhale, let's go forward. We're gonna work into back flexibility a little bit. Bring those knees down, lower, all the way. There'll be a video on back flexibility, so don't need to focus too much on it today, but let's open up. Same reason that downward dog is really good. We spend a lot of time in that rounded spine position, so this helps to reverse it. Inhale to lift, pull the chest forward, and add a bit of a glute squeeze today. If you're just starting out and your spine doesn't feel ready, then just start here. Engage those back muscles. Super gentle. Don't go straight into it like I did. That was actually just habit. When you feel ready, then start to elevate. Pull the chest forward, squeeze the glutes. Good, all right. Okay, now that those arms are nice and warmed up, we're gonna add a little bit more shoulder flexibility and torso flexibility. So from here, walk the hands forward. This is very similar to downward dog, but it gets a bit more into the spine, into the shoulders. We're gonna make sure the knees are right underneath the hips and melt the chest down. It's okay if you look like this. If you're still straight, try just to melt that chest down over time. Tuck the chin in, but as you get lower, you may need to lift the head. Deep breaths. You'll feel it in those arms opening. Good. Nice. Inhale from here. Come back up. Bring that left arm back a little bit and thread the right arm underneath. Bring and solidify that right shoulder to the ground, then gently pull towards it. So let me swap sides for you guys real quick. If my left arm's under, then I'm connecting it to the ground and then pulling my body towards the left a little bit. You'll start to feel it in your back. You can melt closer and closer to the shoulder and try and bring your torso flat as you pull. Okay. Do the same side you've been doing. I have to swap to match you. All right. Okay, swap sides. Left arm through. Again, pull opposing directions, just gently. You can press the forehead to the mat, give yourself a forehead massage if you like, but that may get in the way of pressing that shoulder down. We generally want to hold stretches for around 30 seconds. However, in yoga sequences, sometimes it's just 10 seconds, sometimes it's even less. Go ahead and come on out, return to your tabletop, and then sink on top of the heels. But generally, if you hold stretches for 30 seconds, 3 times a week, that is enough. And that's why doing like 3 yoga videos a week is plenty for your whole body. Because throughout those sequences, you'll definitely get shoulder flexibility and lower body flexibility. Good, from here, either take a strap, like so, interlace the fingers behind your back, and then press down. You can also use a jiu-jitsu belt, or interlace the fingers and press. Okay, we're opening through the front of the chest. Now, if that already feels like enough, stay here. If you want to take it another level and get a slightly different part of the chest, come back onto your forearms, gently lower, or onto your hands, gently lower down. We're going to extend the right arm out. Completely straight, okay? No off to the side, perpendicular to the body. Now from here, we're gonna rotate onto that arm gently. So take your time here. If you already feel it at like here, then stop. But just go to the point you feel the stretch. You can hold like this, or you can place the foot behind you and get a bit of a spinal stretch. This is pretty much the same stretch, or very similar stretch as the doorway stretch. The doorway pick stretch. So if you want to increase as well, you can add a bend to the elbow. You'll get more. I recommend starting with the arm straight for now. My cat keeps slightly opening her eyes. Good. Swap sides. If you're on this one, we're only going to hold this briefly. Deep breaths. Generally, you don't need to improve flexibility in the shoulders past downward dog, unless you're doing handstands and things, but past the flat back and downward dog. But because it's such a mobile joint and building strength around it can often be really beneficial, but it feels really good to open if you've, again, been rounding all day in a chair. Nice, bring it back to the middle, inhale. Exhale, come back to your tabletop. Inhale from here, we're just gonna step that right foot forward. If you need some help, grab the foot, wiggle it up, and we're gonna move on to hip flexibility. Inhale, lift the torso up just as we did on day 1. We're gonna take it up a notch. If you need to, grab something to place underneath the knee. And from here, tuck the hips under. Then right arm connects to right leg. Inhale, find a side bend. Bring that left arm towards the right. Make sure those hips are even, and we're squeezing the glutes under, and you'll really feel this one. So again, right hip back, left hip forward. Feeling it in that left side. You can bow down more if you want to increase it. And there is a way to progress this a little bit more. You can also use a couch for this stretch. But if we don't have a couch and we're doing yoga, then I recommend either grabbing a strap or a jiu-jitsu belt and giving this a go. So you can bring those hands are surrounding the right foot or on blocks, and just bring that left heel towards your glutes. If that already makes you cramp up a little bit, it feels uncomfortable, then just start from here. Next time you practice this, just start from here. But if that's okay, grab a strap, wrap it around the foot, and sink the hips down a little bit more and pull that foot towards your glutes. You'll feel a really nice quad stretch. Again, you can do this upright, against a wall, against a couch, and it really gets deep into the hip flexors. But if you're at the level where you don't really need the strap, you can also just grab it with the hand pull it towards you, okay? That's kind of the end range of this pose. So wherever you are, if you're still here, that's okay too. Just find your favorite version. Slow your breathing. This one gets deep. Good, okay, release. All right, from here, inhale. On the exhale, begin to extend the right leg. So just like forward fold, this gets into the back of the leg, the hamstrings. So keep those hips even, point the toes up, flex the foot. Gets a little more into the calf as well with this variation because you're grounding that heel down. And flex into it. Good. Ooh, this one gets intense. All right, if you want to feel it on the outside of your leg a little more, point those toes inwards slightly and move your torso. Again, you can be on blocks here and you can bend this knee as much as you need to. All I want you to do is find the hamstring stretch. And wherever you find it, that's where you should be. Good. One more breath. All right, bring it back in. From here, we're gonna go into the side lunge. So we're gonna use the side lunge we're gonna go to the side lunge on the right leg. However, so you can see it for the first time, I'm gonna briefly swap legs, so stay where you are. Now, from here, what we're going to do is lift the back knee, pivot and turn the toes towards the left corner or even slightly more inward. Maybe for this attempt, bring them slightly more inward. You can come all the way up to standing if you want. And then from here, we're just gonna bend down into that left knee, trying to keep it over the ankle. It's okay if it comes over the toes, but in line with that foot. And lean down just a little bit. As you get used to this one, you can move the foot out more, lower, a little bit more, squat into it, and eventually you'll be able to come all the way down. However, this position, which we'll do, we'll practice more of the parts of it in a second, requires quite a lot of ankle mobility and flexibility here to get this deep. So for now, stay up until you feel like either your hamstring or your ankle is limiting you. Hold for 2 more breaths. And then pivot back to the front, so that should be your right foot. Good, step forward. From here, step the right foot back. We're gonna swap sides now. Bring that right knee down, hips, legs about hip width distance apart, lift up. We're gonna take it to the other side. Left arm comes onto that left leg. And inhale, tuck the hips under. Move the upper body over to the left, right arm reaches to the left. Good, 1 more breath, 2 more breaths actually. And you can either stay there or you can grab your strap and go for that quad stretch. Or head to a wall, whichever variation you chose. Go ahead and hook it. Flex the foot, bring it in towards the glutes. Whoops, falling over here. I would use the opposite hand to grab onto it, just so you're evening out and balancing, even if that means you need to use a block under the right hand. Oh my God, I'm losing it today. There we go. Bring it in, flex the foot. Good opener. Again, don't go for this one if it's too intense. It really is an intense one. You can just practice by bringing that knee in towards the glutes actively. Okay. Hold for 1 more breath. And on the exhale, extend. The left leg just a little, pulling back with the left hip, pulling even with the right hips, maybe a little more forward. Flex the toes, get into that left hamstring. And you can use blocks here if you want to. Focus on the feeling. Deep exhales to go a little deeper. Almost done here. Good, all right. If you want to get the outside, walk the hands to the left a little more, point the toes inward. A little more. Good, release. All right, we're gonna take ourselves into the side lunge again, so lift the back knee off, pivot. I'm gonna face the same way I was, but hopefully you're doing the other side this time. All right, from here, bend again the top leg, so the one closest to the top of the mat. Squat on down. Try and keep the torso flat. If you find yourself rounding as well, as you get lower, then stay up. It feels intense on the leg though. It's a strong hold when you're doing it actively, but when you get the ranges of motion, it actually becomes easier because you can just hang out in the bottom of it. So hold steady. Use a block if you need to. Support yourself in a way that lets you stretch. One more breath. Good, bring it back to the top. And from here, we're gonna actually step the left foot back, returning to tabletop. Spread those knees extra wide for a bit more hip mobility here. And head into your child's pose. Good, try and let the chest melt in between if you can. Nice job. All right, we're gonna head into the cool down now, even though this was quite a cool downy session, so lots of static stretches and holds. We're gonna properly finish up now. So from here, come up onto the shins, lean forward, come into tabletop, and if you can, walk yourself back so you're in kind of a low squat here, even if that means your heels are elevated. If that transition doesn't feel great for you, then start standing up, bring the hips about hip width distance apart, and start to squat down. You might notice this is like as low as you can go, and you start to round, your heels come up. That's perfectly normal. That means there's room to grow. So what I want you to do if you're struggling to keep a flat back while in this end range of motion, lift the heels up, place some blocks underneath or something, or some pillows, and that will get rid of the ankle mobility needed to get here. However, over time, you're going to want to practice lowering these blocks, removing them until you can eventually get the heels down and lift with the chest. Okay, if you're struggling to get deep again, you can try a little bit of a wider stance. Everyone's anatomy is different, and it can be tricky for some people to get here, whereas it's easier for others. So that's why it's important to not judge yourself for any of this, because everyone's bodies are different. Whew, good. From here, either lift up and find your way to the mat, however is best, or just take a seat down on the mat. Connect these soles of the feet. Inhale to lift the chest, and exhale, bow down forwards. Add a little bit of a wiggle if you want for some butterflies. Stretching into the hips properly this time. Good. Deep, slow breaths. You can close your eyes as we get further into the cool down. Okie dokie. Lift on up, and from here, take the right leg out. Another inner hamstring stretch. Inhale, lift the chest, and if you're already rounding, that's okay. You can place something under the hips to find a tall spine. But Try and keep that spine tall to the point where you feel the stretch. If you're here and you don't feel the stretch, then you want to lean forward until you can feel it while keeping the spine straight. If you lean forward too much, then you'll start to round to compensate. So find that point where the back's straight and you feel the stretch. Good. All right, from here, right leg comes in, swap sides. Inhale, lift. Exhale, come forward. A couple deep breaths. We're almost done here. And your body would have gotten a really proper, really good stretch in. Whew. Good. Inhale, lift. One more time, extend the leg out. Just very briefly, lean forward. If you're struggling, place something under the hips again. We want to find that straight spine and come down gently. Remember your posture. We're pulling up as if there's a string at the top of the head, but we don't need to worry about the core or anything here. Good. Inhale to come on up. From here, scoot the hips forward. And exhale, make your way to the back. From here, we're gonna do a 1/2 happy baby. So extend the left leg, tuck that right knee into your chest. So this one is actually really funny. It's called wind release pose. So if you're ever struggling, this pose is really good for that. But we're just transitioning through that pose today. So if that's actually enough for you and you already feel a good hip opening, stay there. If you want to take it to another level, either grab a strap or use your hand, and we're trying to pull the knee to the outside towards the mat on the right side of the body. So right hand to right foot or around a strap, try and pull the knee down, really open through the hips. Flex the feet and deep inhales and exhales. Good job. And swap sides, right leg down, bring that left knee in. Whoo. Shake the leg out a little if you need to get that, bring the blood back. Pull the knee in. And either stay there or grab onto the outside of the foot, grab a strap, and pull the left knee to the left side of the mat. Good. Plant both feet down, wiggle them back and forth. And we'll enter Shavasana. This time, 15 breaths. Okay, close your eyes. I'll let you just sink in. I'll let you just enjoy. I'll let you just focus on your own body, on your own breathing today. Enjoy this 15 breaths and breathe through the stomach from the diaphragm. couple more. Good. Open the eyes. Inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, turn onto one of your sides and gently press yourself up. Good job. So that was quite a long one. However, that is exactly what you need to improve your mobility, and you can keep returning to this one and you'll see amazing flexibility results if you do. Okay, thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you tomorrow for the breath work and the next day for another flow.